Cooking New All, I'm Rebecca Fliszar, the dietitian with the Heart of New All. We're working to reduce and eventually eliminate heart attacks in the 56073 zip code. And our first way of doing that is bringing you some great recipes. So today I have Tim O'Neill here to make a wonderful salmon recipe. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your recipe and what ingredients you have for us today?
All right, we're going to do a grilled salmon with zucchini and a red pepper sauce. So we're using some wild-caught Alaskan salmon that we brought in. And we will be using, this time of year, it's good to use zucchini and summer squash. Either one or both is good, and kind of go from there.
Well, great. This is going to be a wonderful recipe when we're looking for those omega-3 fatty acids. Remember, those are found in your salmon, your mackerel, and herring. Those are going to be our great fats. They're going to bring down our bad cholesterol and bring up the good. So that is definitely what you want to incorporate into your diet 1 to 2 times per week. We're also going to be using some slivered almonds. These again are a great source of protein and they have no or little cholesterol. So again, a good fiber source, though we have to be careful with our portion size. Remember, walnuts and almonds are going to be high in calories. So, okay, Tim, let's jump in.
All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take care of the sauce. And we're going to use a food processor, or if you have a blender, either one will work great. We need a 1/3 cup of almonds. And then we're going to use some cherry tomatoes. If you have grape tomatoes, they work great also. We need a 1/2 cup of them sliced, just in half.
Again, this is something that's growing easily in our gardens this time of the year. You can incorporate your fresh produce right into your recipes. It's going to bring down the overall cost of the recipe. It's going to utilize the food that you have on hand, and you're really going to feel great about using those garden vegetables to create such a yummy dish.
Oh, most definitely.
Tim also mentioned that with your zucchini, your squash are going to do the same thing. Pull them out of your garden, get them into those recipes.
All right, we got about a 1/2 cup of tomatoes there. And then now we're going to go with our roasted red peppers. These are great to cook with, easy to find.
Right, those are found right in your produce department. You can take them right off the shelf. They're ready to go, and they're going to add quite a kick to this sauce. You can see that Tim, too, is giving it about an estimate. Many of our recipes are going to call for specific measurements, but you can tailor those to your own taste. Things like vegetables can always be added in greater quantity. They're only going to improve your overall heart health.
All right. And 1 clove of garlic.
Tim, why don't you walk us through just getting that apart? Many times people ask me, well, how do we know what a clove is? So what are we looking for in this garlic here?
They come in bulbs. So then 1 clove would be part of the bulb. And I guess I'm a big garlic fan. I like to use more if we can, but with the red peppers and everything, we don't need a whole lot more than that because otherwise it will be overpowering.
Okay. So remember, garlic is great for heart health. It's something that's going to bring up all those antioxidants, and it's something that you want to incorporate into your diet. So, if you can bring that into the diet on a regular basis, maybe 1 to 2 cloves per day is an excellent source of garlic. Oftentimes I'm asked, well, what about the odorless pills? These are not as effective as regular garlic, so using them in your recipes is of great benefit. Like Tim said, you don't need a lot of garlic to pull out that flavor, but it is going to be beneficial. You're going to notice it as an underlying flavor, and you're going to have that great red pepper on top.
All right, and next we're going to add 1 tablespoon of our red wine vinegar. And I thought I had a tablespoon here, but I'll estimate.
Again, the red wine has its own distinctive flavor. It is used for cooking only. It does not contain any alcohol, so you can serve it to your entire family.
And then 1 teaspoon of virgin olive oil.
Now that's not a lot of oil, Tim, but we do have some in our peppers. Is that correct?
Correct. The peppers come in olive oil base. And so there's a little bit in there, so we don't want to add too much or otherwise it'll be turn into a soup.
Remember, olive oil is one of our good sources of monounsaturated fats. That's what helps bring up your good cholesterol and down your bad.
And are we plugged in? There we go. Now we want to blend it until it's in a smooth state. So we're going to push down the sides a little bit to make sure we get it all nice and smooth.
So what kind of texture are we looking for, Tim? What is our goal here?
Almost a smooth sauce type
Okay.
texture. That looks pretty good. With the peppers, it's not going to be like a smoothie texture,
Okay.
but you don't want it a coarse chopped texture like you would like in a salsa
All right.
either.
So that's why the food processor comes in handy. It's going to save us a lot of time and make it a really pretty good consistency for our sauce, correct? Good.
Correct. All right, now let's move on to these fillets. We'll get them skinned here.
So when you're picking out your salmon, Tim, what is it that we're looking for? What should we be checking for when we're picking out any kind of fish?
The best is to go into your market and ask them what day the truck comes in, and you try to pick up your fish or salmon that day or the following day. It's going to be the freshest. Salmon, you want it a nice bright red color, and you don't want a real fishy smell with it.
Now there is a small difference between farm-raised and wild salmon. You're going to notice that they're going to have a little bit of a different diet, so you're going to have a little bit of a different taste. There's also a difference in price. You know, our overall nutrition on these two are going to be very similar. So, you know, if price is a difference, you can go ahead and use that farm-raised salmon and still get the benefit. All right, so what you're trying to do here is we're separating that off from the skin, correct?
Correct. With being grilled, I don't want the skin on the bottom.
Okay, and so you just slid your knife right through there?
Right through the bottom. If you, on the next piece, I'll go a little slower and explain a little bit. But if you hold the... I
can take that for you.
All right, thank you. If you hold the skin and you come in at about a 30-degree angle and just slide down, it'll peel right off the skin.
Okay. It's important to follow those tips because we don't want to have a lot of waste. When you're paying a good dollar amount for these cuts of salmon, we want to get as much yield out of this cut as possible. So.
Correct. Some you can cook the salmon right on the skin, but then when you're at the table, you are peeling that little piece off, and that's when you have a bunch of people over, you want it to look nice as if you're in a restaurant, so you want to take the little extra time.
Great.
All right, so we're going to start the salmon, and I'm going to wash my hands quick.
And while Tim is doing that, let's go ahead and check in with Holly for Fit in 5 and stay active while we're making our recipe.
Hi, I'm Christine Hosna with Heartsbeat Back, here with the Fit in 5 segment to show you workout that you can do in your own town. I'm here at Nels Park today to show you a great cardiovascular workout. There are a number of workouts that can be done here at Nels Park. You can take part in frisbee golf, you can play baseball or kickball on the baseball field, or you can bring your kids to play at the playground. But today I am here to show you the Healthline fitness system. The Healthline fitness system is a great way to improve muscle tone and flexibility to develop a great cardiovascular system. Some of the exercises include stretching and balancing. To begin, start at the beginning point where I am here and move from station to station. Each activity explains the exercise and a recommended pace to the next activity. Each station also has 2 different activity levels, such as infrequent and frequent users. It tells you the rate of the activity, as in how long you should do each activity based on your activity level. It tells you the pace to the next activity. So now I'm going to show you this beginning part here. It explains here to do an isometric squat. So follow the instructions here. Lean against the pole. Act as if you're sitting down. Hold it for the recommended pace. The pace to the next exercise says that you should jog to the next one. So I'm going to show you jog to the next exercise and show you the next exercise. As I'm at the next exercise station here, it shows you to do toe touches. The exercise level that I have been doing is an infrequent user. It says to hold this exercise for 20 seconds and to walk to the next exercise. So for this one, you're going to bend at the waist, touch your toes, and hold it for 20 seconds. And then you're going to walk to the next exercise. If you were a frequent user, you would hold it for 45 seconds. This is a great way to get a cardiovascular workout if you walk around the whole trail. I'm Christine here from Nels Park, and it's back to you, Becca.
All right, Tim, let's jump into our salmon here. Tell us where we're at in this recipe.
All right, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna process the zucchini, slice it up, so then we're ready to start grilling and get going here.
Great. You're going to notice that Tim is using 2 different knives. Now, fish isn't one of our great cross-contaminators, but anytime you're having a meat with a vegetable, it's a good cooking habit to keep them separate. So that's why he has his separate knife going, and a good practice for you at home as well.
All right, zucchini, summer squash, great this time of year. In the next couple weeks around here, they'll really start growing, be ready to pick. So zucchini is great grilled, and when you grill it, you can just leave the skins right on because it's a small enough.
And it has a lot of our nutrients in there, so it's a good idea to keep those on there. Tim's actually cutting in a julienne style. It's these long cuts. It does utilize the skin a little bit better. You'll notice that Tim's being pretty careful. Got to be careful with the fingers on this cut.
You don't want to ruin the meal and have to run down to the emergency
clinic.
room.
Again, with any recipe, we're only cutting up 1 zucchini today, but you can add in as many vegetables as you like. Remember, we're looking for the 7 to 9 fruits and vegetable servings to meet our Mediterranean and Heart of New Ulm goal.
All right, we're going to start with our zucchini because then when we're done with the zucchini, we're going to end up letting it cool so we can cut it up, and then we'll throw our salmon on.
Okay.
So what the easiest thing to do instead of using oil on your grill to get flare-ups is to use cooking spray, and you just spray both sides and they won't stick, and then that way you're not digging your grill apart or cleaning it as often. So
that's a great tip, something we haven't seen before. You can use the cooking spray directly on the vegetable. It is going to save you a little bit of cleanup time and ensure that your vegetables aren't going to stick. So a good tip, Tim.
And the zucchini isn't going to take that long. The grill is on about a medium heat right now. You don't want it too hot where it's going to burn everything. And especially at home, if you get busy and you don't get to the grill or you run inside, then all of a sudden you don't come back and everything is all burned.
So tell us what we're looking for. What is our measure or our marker to know when this is done?
The best thing with as thin as these are, you can go probably about 1.5 minutes on each side.
Okay.
The zucchini, because it's so thin, is going to cook fast. As we get closer here, you'll see that we start getting some marks, and that's good. Okay. You don't want it too soft where it turns into, you want it between firm and too soft where it's more like a mush.
Okay. So now we're using an indoor grill, obviously, here today. If you're using a regular grill, do you need to put it in tin foil? Can it be left right on the grill?
You can leave it right on the grill.
Okay.
It's great. You get the grill marks. Tastes good. You just want to coat it. If you don't have cooking spray, you can toss it in a little olive oil before you put it on the grill.
Okay.
But don't try to oil it while you're on the grill because then you'll get the flare-ups. So.
Good tip. A lot of people like to add salt on these vegetables, and that's something that we would not encourage. You can use a lot of our different herbs and seasonings. Again, this is a great time of the year. Pull them right out of your garden and throw them right on top.
They're starting to get some small grill marks here with being, if you were gonna now say leave these holes whole, you would probably want a little more definite grill marks, but since they will be cut up and put on a plate, you just want them, you don't necessarily have to have the grill marks on them.
So is this going to change color? Or are we going to see it lighten up?
It'll actually turn a little yellower,
okay.
Just from the cooking process.
I think that's one of the biggest hurdles for people to grill vegetables is to know when they're done, and like you said, avoid the mush. So, you know, as much as we try, it does come down to a little bit of practice, huh?
Yes, it does. It's not like it's going to happen overnight, but
right.
you know, it's still going to taste good, and the next time you'll do it a little different, and then after a short period of time, you don't even think about it because it just comes routine.
So what other kind of vegetables do you like to put on the grill, Tim?
We use a lot of summer squash. Asparagus is great.
Oh, okay.
Tomatoes are great. You can kind of cut them in like you would slice them, grill them for a little bit, throw a little garlic on top, and almost like a roasted tomato.
Oh, that does sound good.
As a side,
yep.
That's very good. Corn, we do on the grill.
Right. We can even use some of these peppers, correct?
Yes, the peppers, red peppers, green peppers. You know, you'd cut them up, throw them in a pan just like you would on the stove, saute them down, almost on the grill. You know, they're great that way. And
perfect.
This time of the year, it's good to be outside and be able to do that.
That's right. You know, changing our habits is one of our main goals with the Heart of New Ulm. So many of us are used to throwing our burgers and brats on the grill and calling it a night. But what Tim is showing us is that there are other alternatives. We have our vegetables, we're going to have our salmon, and these are easy recipes to follow. So, you know, changing our habits, changing what we do, changing the standards in our home, all of those are going to lead to better heart health.
All right, these are almost done here. I am going to get the salmon ready to put that on the grill as soon as I pull the vegetables off. Now, I do like to season with just a little bit of salt on the salmon, not a whole lot. You don't really need it, the flavor's there, but if there's enough, it pulls it out and you get a little better taste out of it.
Right. As Tim mentioned, a little bit of salt in our diet is a reasonable quantity, so he's using just a small 1 teaspoon amount, not even a full teaspoon is what he'll be using. This is fine. It's when we go in excess with our salt. So we aren't adding anything to our vegetables. We saw the preparation of our sauce. Again, it did not contain any salt. So a small amount of salt to bring out the flavor in our meats still meets the heart healthy guidelines and keeps us on a low sodium diet. So it doesn't mean you have to eliminate it completely from the recipe. So just a little salt and pepper, that's all we need for our salmon?
Just a little salt and pepper on the salmon, and it's going to be good to go. These are looking pretty good. I am going to pull them off and get our salmon on the grill here. So.
All right. Well, while we make this transition, why don't we go ahead and check in with Betsy and find out what's new with the Heart of New Ulm.
Hi, I'm Betsy Peiser, and I'm a project manager with the Heart of New Ulm. Wanted to let you know about an upcoming event we have. We're excited for the Bavarian Blast 5K walk run and the 10K run. The event is Saturday, July 17th at 8 a.m., at least from the fairgrounds, from the Civic Center parking lot actually, and it starts and finishes there. The 5K walk run and the 10K run both start at 8 a.m. You can register online at bavarianblast.com or our website, heartofnewulm.org. We hope to see you there.
All right, thanks, Bets. That's a great update. Make sure you're getting involved in the community as much as possible. Remember, it's for your heart health. Okay, Tim, where are we at?
All right, we pulled the zucchini off the grill, and I have put the salmon on, and as you can tell, they're starting to get a little white on the outside here. That means we're probably about 30 minutes or 30 seconds away from flipping it. 30 minutes, they'd be a little more overdone. So,
all right, so how long have you had them on there now?
They've been on there roughly about a minute and a half.
Okay, so we should expect 2 minutes about per side?
2.5.
Okay.
Two and a half. And what I did is when I put them on the top side down first. So then when we flip them, they're ready to be able to be picked up and put on the presentation when we're done.
So you only want to flip your meat one time, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
That's the easiest. You can, if you want to put it on there for a minute and then put it on at 10 o'clock, cook it for a minute, 2 o'clock, then you get the nice cross patterns.
Okay.
But the more you touch the meat, the more issues you're losing some of the good nutrients out of it.
Okay, so we see that bottom side that you just flipped is white, and that's what we're looking for.
That is what we are looking for.
Okay. And again, about 2.5 minutes on our bottom side?
2.5 minutes. What we're going to do now while we're waiting for these to finish up, we're going to take our zucchini and we're just going to cut them in about 1 inch chunks.
You'll notice again, Tim has switched his cutting board, and we're still on our vegetable knife. So we did not use the salmon cutting board. We're being thoughtful and mindful of cross-contamination of our foods. We do want to keep our entire family safe and avoid any kind of foodborne illness when we're preparing our foods.
Whether I'm at home or when I was at the restaurant, I would prefer, you want everyone safe. So
Right.
even if it's your own family, don't take the shortcuts. It's not that much more to wash.
Great. Now tell us a little bit about your background, Tim.
My background, I've been in the cooking industry for about 4.5 years now. I love to cook. It's my passion. So what I did is I wanted to get into a real kitchen, the real toys, the man toys, I suppose you could say, and I hired on in New Ulm here. And I did leave my job to go full-time into the industry, and I love doing it. Banquets, cooking for 300-400 people.
Great.
It's a good rush.
Good. Now, even though Tim has some pretty extensive experience, you know, these recipes are something that you can easily make at home and could be tailored to your liking. Remember, if you're not spicy or you don't care for anything that you had in this recipe, you definitely can make substitutions and tailor it to your individual liking.
All right, what we're going to do while the salmon are finishing up, you're going to take a little bit of the sauce and we're going to mix it in with our zucchini. It'll be a good presentation on the plate, and then we're going to take the rest of the sauce and we are going to put it on top of the salmon when we're ready to plate.
So now, can we expect this to be pretty spicy, or with that red pepper, what should the flavor be?
Actually, the red pepper is not a real spicy pepper. It's more of a flavorful sweet pepper. It's a very good flavor. It's going to kind of explode when you taste it.
Good.
So, and then what we'll do is we'll put some of this on the plate.
You can see you're going to have a full vegetable serving with this meal, as well as our high protein, good fat salmon. So this is a really good comprehensive meal. As with any dish you're having on the Mediterranean diet, using your fruit as your dessert is a perfect complement. So, you know, incorporate all of our different food groups into this meal.
If we look at the salmon now, it's all completely pink. And as you pick it up, you can see it's firm. So that tells you that it's ready to go. And if you touch in the middle still kind of bounces back a little bit.
Okay.
So that means it's not overdone.
Okay.
So we'll take one of these off. Lay that on top of the vegetables. And this is, for a serving of 4, this is 280 calories.
Perfect.
So then, my spatula. Improvise.
That's right here.
Oh, thank you.
Sure.
All right. And then just give it a little more kick. Take a little parsley.
Now, the parsley is actually listed in this recipe as garnish to make your plate look nice, but if you're one of the faithful followers, you'll have heard me say it before, parsley is high in nutrients, great in flavor, and should be consumed.
All right, there you go.
Well, this is a beautiful dish. As I said, it's going to encompass many of our food groups. It's that great high omega-3 fatty acid that we're looking for to increase your good cholesterol and bring down your bad. So couldn't ask for a better recipe, and the presentation is great.
Wonderful.
So we appreciate you being here, Tim.
Thank you for inviting me.
And that is it for this week of What's Cooking New Ulm. We'll see you next week.